The Met has several missions that are really intersecting. One of them, which is the least obvious to the public, but that is really important, is the Met is really the repository of the cultural legacy of our civilization. So we have 5,000 years worth of art, and our first job is to protect it, to preserve it for future generations. So making sure we do that, that's easy to measure. What is the quality of the art, and are we maintaining a healthy, safe environment for it? Beyond that, we serve audiences, we have educational programs, we have a whole host of projects and initiatives that fall within the category of our mission. And each of them can be measured incrementally, I think, in various ways. And one of the challenges of good leadership is figuring out what are the right measures, and how do you know when we get there, and what should we do differently if we're not getting there. That's not always easy in an institution that isn't looking at the bottom line as its primary measure. The Met is a place beloved by millions. There are people who have met there, who have married there, who have had life-changing experiences there. I had them as a young person. When I first started learning about art, I visited the Met regularly, and for the rest of my life I've been a visitor to the Met. So I hold it as a very special place. I think the challenge or the opportunity is to build on that interest and that love in ways that allows us to move forward and do new and interesting things. But at the same time respecting what it is about the museum that is meaningful and powerful for people. Like a college or university, the place has to move forward. It has to respect the environment that's around it for it to be healthy. But it also has to respect its history and its defining vision. Because unlike many commercial entities, universities and art museums are perpetual institutions. They're here, we're here for the duration. So we have to change with the times, but not so much so that we lose our way. And that's part of, again, the work, the fun of the work. The Met's a fascinating place because it is certainly a global institution with 6.3 million visitors from all over the world. But we're also a local institution. We were founded by the citizens of New York. The city of New York owns our building, and we therefore have worked in partnership with the city since 1870 when we were founded. They contribute financially to the well-being of the institution every year. About 10% of our budget comes from the city of New York. And so we work in partnership with them in the sense that we want them to understand where we're heading, why we're going in the direction we're going in. The city does not intrude in our business. They don't have a concern about how we manage or what our strategic objectives are. What they care about is the degree to which we're serving the local population and advancing the overall goals of New York City. We also live in New York, in the middle of Central Park, which is one of the most beloved and special spaces in all of New York. So anything we do in the building is also noticed by the whole city. So we pay very close attention to that. We work closely with the leaders of the city. 5 members of the city leadership have seats on our board. So they're in the room and they're able to engage in discussion and see how we're governing ourselves and what decisions that we're making. And I'm proud to say that for, I think, the whole history of the museum, the relations with the city have been very positive. They certainly are now. Administrations come and go, but the relationships continue to be strong. And I think that's a good sign of a healthy partnership. Well, I think it starts with any kind of plan for change or any kind of strategic vision in any organization has to really be predicated on a deep understanding of what the DNA of the place is. What is it about the Met that is enduring? What is it about the Met that will be here in 100 years and that was here 100 years ago that shouldn't change? And I think that's actually a discussion that requires lots of voices and a lot of reflection because it isn't as obvious as it may sound to figure that out. So for the Met, I think the answer is that the institution is the important cultural repository for our civilization, that we house the best and the most extraordinary examples of art that's been created around the world for the last 5,000 years. We want to preserve that. We want to build our collections as the world continues to move forward. And we want to make those collections available to the public, to scholars, and to others. The rest of it is negotiable. How do we do that? How do we use technology? What kind of programs do we develop within the institution? Those things have to be really attuned to the environment around us in order for them to be meaningful. If no one's interested in our programs, then they're not meaningful programs. On the other hand, if all we're doing is pandering to the public, we're not really respecting our mission. So there's a very healthy tension between those core values that really shouldn't be changing and the environment that we operate in, where we should be changing.